Hi guys, and welcome to GISTUBE TV, where we thrill you with amazing video all day long. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel and hit the notification bell after you subscribe to this. Popular Nigerian superstar and talented international singer Olawale Ashimi, popularly referred to as Brymo, has alleged and accused legendary Innocent Idibia, widely referred to as Two-Face or Two-Baba, of sleeping with his wife. In a long thread last night, the philanthropist, the singer, the book writer narrated is filled with Two-Face, alleging that Two-Face has sent talks to even beat him up at one time. Let me read to you the things that Brymo accused this man of doing. He said, in the very recent past, a man falsely accused me of sleeping with his wife, and I've waited in angst, and the words were never taken back. And that he had made effort to prove that indeed he slept with Two-Face's wife, and his soul has not known peace ever since then. According to him, Mr. Innocent Idibia, Two-Face, at an Afrima press conference in 2015-2016 thereabout, walked into the room, sat beside him and elbowed him in a supposed greeting like 4 or 5 times, repeatedly looking away saying, Brymo, Brymo. And they exchanged no other words that day. That is Two-Face's way of just trying to, quench the fire that is between them. But now he has given us a backstory. He said in 2012 he had the opportunity to tour the US with his company, and it was mostly appreciated by him because the opportunity was great for him, because Two-Face at that time was one of the most respected acts around, and it was his first reference at everything, and he looked up to him. Then afterwards, he approached Brymo for a feature, specifically asking him to get on a track with him. He said he was reluctant to consider it because he still does not know what he did, why he did what he did at the press conference years ago. Right, I don't know what he did at the press conference though, but that he got persuaded to meet. He said the week before he had shared the company of his wife. You know how Brymo writes beautifully, is an orator, so the thread was actually very beautifully written and a lot of things you need to decode. So let me just continue. He said he had shared the company, he had hung out with Two-Face's wife, a female friend of theirs, and also his partner, and within minutes Mrs. Annie Idibia, of course, asked him what the future held for his career, a question that he thought was an attack to him, and he said, well, it's going to be my future, that he said is going to be Africa's finest act alive, and that is going to reign for a decade, and that he knew at that time that his response was beautiful. Then the following week he had a meeting with Mr. Idibia himself, Two-Face, and he now referenced another artist who in the past had claimed king at his own expense, at the expense of Two-Face. That is saying that Two-Face has been trying so hard to remain in the #1 spot in the nation at least, and that nobody should try and claim king outside of him, and that Two-Face was telling him that what his fate would be if he kept eyeing Two-Face's throne. Weeks later, he saw the other person Two-Face was referring to bowing to Two-Face repeatedly on stage. Afterwards, he was lured into being hosted by a friend they just met, and they spent days philandering, getting high. He was asked if he would be part of an organization, and he was like, well, I might want to, except I don't subscribe to being battered. Minutes later, the new friend he met that they went partying together with for a while now said he wanted to go to another guest house where some guy had messed up and they needed to punish him, but the person did not wait for him, so he was trying to catch up with the person. By the time he got to the gate, he realized that, oh, so I'm the person they want to deal with, because they're asking him to show ID, and he was trying to forcefully open the gate, stating that he was a guest in the hotel and he didn't need ID. 4 guys that came in through the gate, they launched an offense at him. He said he tried to fight back, and he got a black eye, but they really dealt with him. Later, he found out from an undisclosed source that Mr. Idibia, Two-Face, was responsible for the attack. He didn't say anything. He decided that he couldn't decide if the beating or the punishment that he received from Two-Face was because Two-Face has alleged that he slept with Mrs. Idibia, that is Annie, or because he said he's the greatest artist alive. He now said, he asked him directly, that Oga, why you can't send boys make them beat me? Shey na because you think say I dey sleep with your wife, or because I talk say na me be greatest artist of all time? And that at first he denied it. Then later he now said that Brymo is saying some things about him. That's why they beat him, that he didn't orchestrate it, but that those guys are people that call him Egbon, and so they attacked him. And he said that the day they met, his wife or his partner had asked Brymo himself about something because he cheated on his partner at a point, and he confessed. And then Annie Idibia asked Two-Face Idibia if he was still sleeping with his baby mama, and he denied it, and that he wasn't seeing the lady anymore. The wife stormed off, not believing it, and Two-Face now said that Brymo fought. That is, if Brymo had not confessed to his own partner, Annie Idibia would not be expecting the truth from him when she asked him if he was still sleeping with the baby mama, maybe Pero, because that's the person they had a recent problem with. He now said up until a few weeks ago, he has found himself being forcefully shoved to take on Two-Face's life image, to make his mistakes and experience his pains. He said, Mr. Idibia has truly gone and tinkered with my life for months upon months. It may be prudent of him to desist from interactions with things and people that are close to me in my domestic space and in the field of survival. I have carried these emotions for many months, and I won't rush to this for publicity. It is not funny, it is madness. He has also gone ahead to say, innocent Idibia will never accuse another artist this way again. This is the last time. I waited, and now I will tell every soul how he runs around publicly feigning humility while privately having the self-esteem of family and friends for dessert. No more. Maybe in my former life I would bang everyone my fairy eyeballs landed on. Maybe what everyone sees, I was a god king. Not this time. And no matter how many allegations, I will live long in boundless health and means, and I will live with the child in my heart still alive. Now, a lot of people have responded to this thing because it's a huge accusation from Brymo's part. Brymo, for the most part, is one of the artists who just solely borders upon his craft. He said this is not the first time he would try, and that it happens in the world of entertainment. The music industry is very vast. You could try and ask feature from people. He has asked some artists for features and they've denied. His managers have gone to them with contracts and they've denied, and he's also denied some other artists features. So why is Two-Face's own this big and he not wanting anybody to even do anything big outside of himself? And Two-Face has had his reign. However, Two-Face has been in the industry since 1994. He first was a part of a group, Plantation Boys. He broke out solo artist and he's been doing amazingly well. Any song that Two-Face drops now is going to be a hit. The same thing with Brymo. This year, earlier in the year, Brymo released 2 albums the same day, and both albums were good. He has his own audience. He has people who are rooting for him. He had a concert recently. It wasn't much publicized, but he had people go there. Brymo has his own audience, so to say, in Nigeria. People who are bent fans of Brymo. So it's like, what is happening in the music world? Both of them are kings on their own. We can have as many kings as possible. The sky is big. That's what most people are saying. And this allegation is true. Then Two-Face is a horrible person. That's what this person is saying, because his home recently, it seemed like a lot of things he has a lot of things going on for him. Sometime recently, his wife and himself were all over social media calling each other out, the wife especially, saying that his family do not like her, they are trying to ruin what they have, and had to come and do some damage control. At the time, it was even alleged by Annie Idibia in the voice note that was leaked, audio notes that was leaked, that Two-Face left Nigeria to go to America and he packed his things because of Annie's troubles. We do not know how true this one is, because when Two-Face was celebrating his birthday very recently, amidst the brouhaha going on in his family, he tried to touch on it and said he would love us to respect his privacy. So it's like someone who respects his privacy a lot. But now Brymo is saying that he's just feigning humility, and privately he's trying to get rid of anybody who he thinks wants to be king or who he thinks is doing better than him, and he's having the self-esteem of his friends for desert. I mean, he does not want anybody to grow as much as he does. Now, if you're wondering who Brymo is, let me tell you a little something about Brymo. His name is Olawale Ashimi. He was born and raised in Okokomaiko, Ojo, Lagos State. His father is an Awore carpenter and his mother is an Egun petty trader. He is the only child of his parents. He grew up in a multi-faith household and learned to recite the entire Quran after being enrolled in an Islamic school. He then went to Agonju Aka Primary School and later enrolled at Japao Primary School. It said that he was quite a troublesome kid. In fact, he actually dropped out of LASU, where he was studying Lagos State University, where he was studying zoology, to pursue a career in music. He was initially interested in playing football after graduating secondary school. In 1999 was when he recorded his first song while in secondary school, and he titled it Future. In 2002, Brymo and some of his friends from a group called the Aliens. Between 2004 and 2005, the group had bad problems and they were disbanded. Not only that, he's had a lot of albums. He's been in our faces. He's released a lot of albums from 2016 up until 2021. He's even written 2 books, Oriri's Plight in 2018 and Verses in 2020. He has a son that was born on the 27th of March 2015, and he let us know months after the child's birth. He has a partner, a living partner, and they are doing very well together, which is why it is surprising that after these years it's coming out to now say that Two-Face said this and this about him. Two-Face, like I said earlier, has been in the industry also since the 1990s, since 1994 up until present. Guys, this news is just unfolding, and of course I'll bring you bigger things as they happen in the course of the Brymo Two-Face Idibia situation. Until such time, guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next video.